take you longer to warm your tyres on cold days. There may be days when your tyres will never get up to the recommended temperature.
I'm quite glad that you didn't do this in the car, but fucking hell.
Right guys, good morning. You join us at Snetterton. I'm with Will, Craig. We've both got three bikes. Well, we've all got three bikes each. Three bikes. So I'll give you a little tour around them. Right, so bike number one is the R6. This is Will's bike for the day. Got a set of supercoursers on, although it is wet. Craig's on this, which is a CBR 600RR. All rentals from Major Track Bike Hire. A bit wet because it's horrible outside. Hopefully it'll dry up, but the weather's not looking too promising. You can see out there, a little bit patchy and greasy. I'm on this, which is a GSX-R 600. Bit of a track pig, but it'll do the job. So guys, session one done. This is a bit of a bad one. The sun is out though. Had a red flag on the first sighting lap. I'll edit this. That means we had 4 total sighting laps and then our session was over, so on to the second session. But the forecast is holding up and that's the important thing. Inter's out at the moment. Okay, that was the end of session 4. I'm knackered. No one told me how physically demanding a track day is. My wrists are, well, my right wrist for some reason, I think it's because I'm constantly like ringing it back. It's yeah, sore. And the amount of pressure when you're going around track on your feet is pretty mental actually. It's a pretty good experience. I would recommend it for anyone. The weather's starting to change a little bit now. We're about to have some rain, I think, so that'll be interesting. I was looking at it as a bad thing, but I think the experience will be pretty good to have rain, a nice sunny day, a nice rainy day, get a bit of both. It's only good for experience, so we'll try it out, shall we? But yeah, today we decided to rent some bikes. We've used a company called Major Track Bike Hire. They're in the second garage from the front, next to the instructors, so it's pretty good. We paid about £350 a bike, so it's not cheap. That coupled with the track day, you know, it's not far off £500 a day, so expensive. I need to change arm. My arm aches so bad. There's been quite a few black flags today. I can see the rain coming in the distance. Watch this.
Yeah, it's raining tonight.
A few moments later.
That is thunder. A nice apple break. Fantastic. Red light. Hail. Rain. Thunder.
12 seconds later.
The current situation. It's hailing, thundering, raining. We've done about 4 or 5 sessions, Craig. 5. And I think it's about to be pulled off because the track is just like a lake. I don't know if you can see this. Actual river going on. I do have Pringles though.
Right, boys and girls,
that is all the footage I got of the Snetterton track day. So I'll talk you through a little bit about, you know, how it was, what I thought of it, the guys that I used, and you know, my general experience. And hopefully, if you're thinking about booking your first track day, some of the experience of mine will help you on yours. You'll notice I'm back on my MT today, finally. The last video I got, it was absolutely hammering down. There was 2 separate thunderstorms at the, like, sort of not far apart from each other, and it hailed, it torrentially rained, then it hailed. The track was closed for I don't know how long, maybe an hour, so we missed a session because of that. And I kind of wrote the day off. I thought they were going to cancel the day, because when they said we're going to reassess in 15 minutes, I thought, oh god, that's it, that's enough. But yeah, they reassessed it in the 15 minutes, and they decided that it was okay. And at that time it was sunny. The sun had come back out after a thunderstorm, and the sun was on the track, drying it really quick. And it's a really windy place, Snetterton, and it's like quite open. So I think that played well for us. By the time the novices went out, which is the group that we were in, the track was pretty much dry, just with the odd puddle here and there. So we were still on the wets, but it was great. The last session was beautiful. It was like almost as good as the morning. Probably my favourite session of the day as well, just because there's hardly anyone there at the end of the day. All the fast group went home, most of the inters went home. On the last session there was just a single person out on the fast group. I think they obviously probably don't want to drop their 20-30k bikes, so didn't worry about it. But yeah, the novice had quite a few people still in the group, so about 7 or 8 of us left, which was quite cool. So yeah, the last session was great. I think I did download a track guide, which sort of tells you stuff to take with you. Definitely 100% take water, a lot of it as well. We took like a good 4 litres of water each, because you will sweat. It's such a physically demanding thing. I really took it for granted how physically demanding a track day is. Not only mentally because you're concentrating, but physically. My legs today feel like I've been squatting constantly yesterday. I'm quite knackered today. My body is anyway. I feel great. But yeah, so I'd recommend taking a lot of water with you. It will save you having to go to the shop at the tracks and buy it there, where it can be quite expensive. Lunch, we bought lunch at Snetterton. They have a cafe there. That was also not too bad. It was like lasagna and stuff like that, so that was good. But we did have quite a lot of snacks with us, just for pecking at in between sessions. No Limits was actually a really good company to go through. They had instructors there who were helping people out all throughout the day with advice and stuff like that, and they were helpful. So really happy with No Limits and how they organised the track day. Very professional, very good, felt welcomed, and yeah, the guys do what they're talking about, which is always comforting for you on your first track day. So yeah, thumbs up to No Limits. I wanted to thank them for the day. When it comes to track bike hire, so we hired bikes because, to be honest, we didn't really want to take our own bikes. A 4-hour drive from where we live, or 3-hour drive, whatever it was, and track the bike and then come back, because tyres and riding a lot, I just couldn't be asked to do it. If it was somewhere a bit closer, maybe an hour away, then I probably would ride there and take my own bike. But there's a little bit of peace of mind in the fact that you're riding someone else's bike. The total excess for us was £1,000, and it's the same with the other brands that were in the same paddock as us. As I mentioned before, we used a place called Major Track Bike Hire, and the other company that are also available are what they called Small Boys. And there's actually quite a big difference between the two companies. Now, I'm going to try and be honest and fair here, without upsetting anyone or, you know, doing all that sort of stuff. So, my friends that I went with, they have previously been with No Limits. They use Small Boys Track Bike Hire, and they were very happy. And this time we decided to go Major Track Bike Hire. Now, how do I say this? The bikes were fine, they worked, they were very beaten up, and there was like obviously saving money by fixing the bike themselves, which is, you know, it's fine if that's what you want to do. I did, however, look over to the other side of the garage and have a look at Small Boys track bike hire. Now the difference was quite large. The bikes were better maintained. They had new like, I know it doesn't matter, but all of the bike were like clean and well maintained, and our bikes were just not. They were smashed to pieces. Craig, who was in our group, he had a problem with his bike having a false neutral all day. The tyres were a little bit slow coming off to change to wets, whereas I think none of that would have really been an issue on the other bikes. They were all like newer, better, you know. If I was to go again, I'd probably pay a little bit more, because our bikes were cheaper. With Major Track Bike Hire, the bikes were like $350 a day, and I think with the other company, Small Boys, they're about $400 a day, I think. They've got they got more selection as well. They got more of a selection as well, so you can like choose, you know, a lot more bikes to use, which, yeah, we had 3600s, which sounded better. And the only reason why we went with Major Track Bike Hire was because the availability of Small Boys wasn't enough. Like all the 600s were out, and we didn't want to go on thousands for our first track day. But yeah, the bikes worked. I was quite happy with my GSX-R, and Will was happy with his R6. Even though they were both quite beaten up and crashed like several times, you could tell they'd been crashed several times. Craig had a CBR 600RR, and yeah, it wasn't in good shape, if I'm honest. It's past it. It was enough to go around a track, but I don't know. It was not a very good looking bike. It was, whoa, install a mirror, man. Yeah, it would pass its best days, let's say. So yeah, in the future, I probably would go with Small Boys Track Bike Hire. Their excess is the same. So yeah, and you get a nicer, faster, better maintained bike. It was just little things, like they had a table and they got all the seats out for their guests, I guess, or their people hiring their bikes. We had a couple of tables, but a couple of chairs, sorry, but that was pretty much it. And they were just a bit more, I would say, professional looking. And I mean nothing against our Major Track Bike Hire. We had a really good day, bar Craig's mishaps with the false neutrals on his bike, and we missed a session because essentially the wets weren't on. But yeah, the guy did a really good job of sort of helping us out. He adjusted my bike a couple of times to help me out, because I had loads of play in the throttle, and it was to get full throttle I was really having to wind my wrist back, which I didn't really like. But yeah, it was okay. The bikes were functional. Snetterton as a first track was also really good. It was a really fast track. It does like realign your brain to what you should be, or what you can achieve on a motorcycle, and I was quite glad that I got to experience the wets. But yeah, I love track days. I don't want to blag on too much. I'm already aware that I've been talking way too long in this video, and it's probably quite boring. But yeah, I love track days. I thoroughly recommend you do one, and I would recommend no limits. I would recommend also use a decent, well-renowned track bike hire if that's what you're going to do. I did see like several crashes throughout the day, like 4 crashes. The first crash was on the sight and lap of the first lap for us, which was really frustrating. There's a lot of heroes out there, let's say, especially on a track day. The first people I spoke to in our paddock who were sharing some of the other bikes asked me what bike I rode, and he was just like, oh yeah, I've got H2, I can start your MT10 with my H2, and I'm just like, okay. And when we were on the track, the guy was, yeah, put it this way, we all went round him on the outside, and yeah, I got my own back on the track. He was all about the pose, let's say, and I'm not about that in motorcycle life. I think there's a lot of posers who just want to talk the talk, and yeah, he was a good example of what not to be like during a track day. But yeah, other than that, I'd love a track bike one day if I can. Hopefully, I know it's a really expensive hobby, so when that is remains to be seen. But yeah, I'd love a like cheapish track bike. Some of the guys there had such expensive bikes, but I'd like a cheapish track bike, and yeah, you learn a lot on a track day. I loved it. I'd really recommend one with no limits. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. I won't drown on too much because I have been, and I'll catch you on the next one. Ciao for now.